Hey everyone, welcome back to Talk in English. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Daniel. Thanks for spending a little time with us today.
On this channel, we chat like real life friends, and you pick up natural spoken English along the way.
Simple, clear, and actually useful. No heavy classroom feeling, just real conversation.
Okay, quick question to start. Have you had a dream recently that felt way too real?
The kind where you wake up and you're like, wait, did that actually happen?
Exactly. And for a few seconds, your brain is still living in the dream.
You're staring at the ceiling, trying to rewind it like a video.
Or you grab your phone immediately, like checking the time will somehow explain the dream.
Or you check your messages, just in case the dream was secretly your brain giving you an update.
I love how dreams can be so random, but your feelings in the dream are super intense.
Yeah, the emotions feel real, even if the story makes no sense.
Like you're running late for a flight, but the airport is your old school cafeteria.
And your passport is a slice of pizza. That's the logic of dreams.
Don't judge me, my dreams are creative.
I'm not judging, I'm just saying the dream brain is wild.
Sometimes I wake up and I can still remember little details, like the lighting, the weather, even the smell.
That's interesting because I usually remember the feeling more than the details.
Really? For me, it's like I can describe the scene, but I can't explain why it happened.
For me, it's like I was stressed, I was excited, I was embarrassed, and that's basically it.
And then there are those dreams where you're searching for something and you feel so frustrated.
Or you're trying to speak, but your voice won't come out.
Oh, I hate those. It's like your mouth is moving, but nothing's happening.
And you wake up annoyed, like, wow, even in my dream I couldn't do it.
But dreams can also be really sweet, like meeting someone you miss.
Or getting a second chance to say something you didn't say in real life.
And then you wake up and you feel kind of emotional for no reason.
For no reason, and also for a very clear reason. Your brain is processing stuff.
True. So today we're going to talk about dreams, not in a scary way, not in a mystery teacher way, just in a normal conversational way. How to describe dreams, how to talk about them naturally, and how to react.
Because telling someone about a dream is a surprisingly good speaking practice.
And it's a great way to learn those storytelling words like suddenly, out of nowhere, and then I woke up.
All right, before we get into it, think about your last dream. Even if it's blurry, just grab one detail.
One detail is enough. A place, a person, a feeling, anything. Okay, ready? Let's start with a little dream small talk. So Daniel, be honest, are you the type who remembers your dreams, or do they disappear the second you open your eyes?
Most of the time they vanish. I'll wake up and think, I definitely dreamed something, and then nothing. It's like my brain deletes the file.
That is so unfair, because I'll wake up and I'm still in the dream for a minute, like I'm halfway in two worlds.
Do you remember details or just the general vibe?
Both, actually. Sometimes I remember weird little things, like the color of a room or the sound of someone's voice, but other times it's just a feeling, like I was stressed or excited.
I'm more of a feeling person with dreams. I rarely remember the plot. I just remember waking up like, ugh, that was intense.
Okay, then let's talk about what affects it, because I swear my dreams change depending on how I sleep.
Same. If I sleep late or I'm scrolling on my phone right before bed, my dreams get more chaotic.
Yes, like your brain is still full of random clips. It's almost like your dream turns into a messy playlist.
Exactly. And if I drink coffee too late in the day, I don't sleep as deeply. I'll wake up more, and I feel like that makes my dreams easier to remember.
That makes sense. If you wake up in the middle of a dream, you catch it. If you sleep straight through, it just fades.
Also, stress. Stress is a big one. When I'm stressed, I get those annoying dreams where I'm late for something.
The running but not moving dreams?
Yes, or I'm trying to pack a bag and nothing fits and the clock is screaming at me.
I know that exact feeling. And it's funny because in real life you might be totally fine, but your dream is like, nope, we're panicking tonight.
Dreams are dramatic. They take one small worry and turn it into a full movie.
Or they take something normal, like going to the supermarket, and then suddenly you're in the supermarket, but it's underwater.
And everyone is acting like it's normal. That's the part that gets me. In the dream, you're like, yeah, sure, underwater shopping, totally fine.
Right? The dream version of you has no questions.
Okay, what about food? Do you think eating late affects your dreams?
I think so. If I eat a heavy dinner late, I sleep weird, and the dreams feel more busy, like too many scenes.
Busy is a good word. I notice that if I'm too warm at night, I get restless, and then my dreams are more intense.
Oh, temperature matters a lot. If I'm too hot, I wake up annoyed. If I'm too cold, I keep pulling the blanket, and my dream becomes this uncomfortable struggle.
That's so real. And then there's that moment in the morning where you're deciding, do I go back to sleep and risk another weird dream?
Or do I wake up fully and just escape?
Sometimes I actually want to go back because the dream was kind of interesting.
Same, especially when it's one of those dreams that feels like a story and you're like, wait, what happens next?
But if it's a stress dream, I'm done. I'm like, nope, I'm not paying for a second episode.
Exactly, no sequel.
So basically, dreams are connected to sleep habits. Phone time, stress, caffeine, food, temperature, all the little everyday things.
And even if you don't remember your dreams clearly, you usually remember how they made you feel.
Which is perfect because feelings are something we can actually talk about in English without needing every detail.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, dreaming is one of those universal things. Everyone has some kind of dream life, even if they forget it.
So if you've ever said, I don't dream, you probably do. You just don't remember.
Okay, so now I'm curious. When you do remember a dream, what's the first thing you do?
I usually just lie there and try to replay it for 10 seconds, and then I forget again.
I'm the opposite. I'll tell someone immediately or write one line in my notes, like airport cafeteria pizza passport. Done.
That is such a Sophia thing to do.
It's how I hold on to it, because once the day starts, it's gone.
All right, so we've warmed up with the dream talk, and that leads perfectly into what we're actually doing today.
Okay, so since we're already in dream mode, let's just go there.
Yeah, today's topic is basically what we've been hinting at the whole time, talking about dreams.
And I know some people hear that and think, oh no, is this going to get weird?
Or super deep, like what does it mean?
Don't worry, we're not doing the whole let me analyze your childhood thing.
We're keeping it normal, like the way you'd tell a friend, I had the strangest dream last night.
Exactly, because dreams are such an easy conversation starter, but a lot of English learners get stuck.
They're like, I can't explain it because the dream is messy and the details don't connect.
And then you feel pressure to tell it perfectly, like it has to make sense.
But honestly, real people don't tell dreams perfectly. Even native speakers are like, okay, wait, this is going to sound random.
Yes, and that sentence alone is useful. This is going to sound random, but...
Because that's the truth. Dreams are random. You're allowed to be a little messy when you describe them.
So today, we're going to show you how to do it in a natural way without feeling awkward.
Like how to set the scene, how to explain what happened, and how to talk about how you felt.
And also how to react when someone tells you their dream.
That part is important because sometimes a friend is telling you this long dream story and you're just like, what do I say?
You can't just say, okay, that's cold.
Right. You want a few friendly reactions like, no way, that's so weird. That sounds stressful. That's actually kind of sweet.
Plus, dreams are perfect for practicing storytelling English.
Because dreams naturally have that flow. So I was here, then this happened, and suddenly, and then I woke up.
And you don't need fancy vocabulary. You just need some simple connectors and a few feeling words.
Also, you can use soft language because you're not sure, like I think, maybe, kind of. It was like,
That's such a big point. Dream talk is basically the home of "it was like."
so if you want to sound more natural in English, this topic is actually a really good training ground.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We'll start with some real dream-style conversations, stories, common dream themes, stress dreams, all of that.
And along the way, we'll pause for little language moments, just so you can steal the phrases and use them right away.
No pressure, no perfect grammar panic, just listening, picking up, and trying it.
And by the end, we'll do a guided practice so you can describe a dream, even if you only remember one tiny detail.
Okay, so let's jump into it. Daniel, I need to ask, what's the most classic dream you've had lately?
Okay, the most felt real dream I had recently was so normal at first, which is why it messed with me.
Those are the worst because you can't tell where the dream starts.
Exactly. In the dream, I woke up in my own bed, in my room, like a regular morning. Same light through the window, same everything.
Oh no, a fake wake up.
Yes, a full fake wake-up. I even did my normal routine. I reached for my phone, I checked the time, and I remember thinking, okay, I have enough time.
That's terrifyingly realistic.
It was. And then I walked into the kitchen and I started making coffee. I could even hear the water, like the sound was so clear.
That detail is so dreamy, though. Dreams love giving you one super clear sound.
Right. And then I got a message. In the dream, my phone buzzed, and it was one of those short messages that instantly changes your mood.
Like a, hey, we need to talk kind of message?
Exactly that vibe. It wasn't even dramatic. It just said something like, "Can you call me when you're free?"
That's enough to make anyone's stomach drop.
My stomach actually dropped in the dream. I felt that physical panic.
This is why I hate realistic dreams. Your body believes it.
Yeah, and I started overthinking immediately. I was standing there with the coffee, staring at my phone, trying to guess what it was about.
And in a dream, your brain is so confident, like, yes, this is definitely a problem.
Exactly. So I called the person, and here's the weird part. The conversation felt completely normal, like the voice, the tone, even the little pauses.
Wow, so it wasn't like weird dream language, it was like real speech.
Yeah, and I remember answering and saying things that I would actually say in real life. That's how real it felt.
Okay, so what was the twist? Because there's always a twist.
The twist was that the person told me we had plans that day, and I had totally forgotten.
Oh, that's such a stress dream twist.
And I started apologizing, and I was trying to get ready fast. I was looking for my shoes, my keys, my wallet. Everything was suddenly missing.
Of course, the dream steals your stuff right when you need it.
Exactly. I was opening drawers, checking pockets, going back and forth, and the more I rushed, the more confused I got.
That sounds so real because it's that exact feeling of, why can't I do a simple thing right now?
Yes, and my heart was racing. Then I looked at the clock again, and the time made no sense. It was like 9:70.
That's the moment the dream shows its true face.
That's when I was like, wait, what? And then I woke up for real.
And for a second, you're still stressed, right? Like you have to fix something?
Exactly. I woke up and I grabbed my phone immediately. Like, did I miss something? Did I forget plans?
And then you realize it's quiet. No message, no coffee, no problem.
Yeah, and the relief hits you, but it takes a minute because your body is still in panic mode.
That's such a perfect example of a dream that feels real. Normal start, Tiny stress message, then chaos, then you wake up confused.
And the funny thing is, later in the day, I still had this little echo of the dream, like my brain was like, "Are you sure we're okay?"
Honestly, dreams can haunt you in the most gentle, annoying way.
Exactly. Not scary, just lingering.
Okay, that lingering feeling is so real, and it kind of connects to another thing, recurring dreams.
Yeah, dreams that come back again and again, like your brain is rewatching the same episode.
Exactly. Do you have any recurring ones, like the classic I'm late dream or I can't find my way dream?
I do. My most common recurring dream is the "I'm back in school" one.
Oh my gosh, yes, the school dream. That one is weirdly universal.
In the dream, I'm suddenly a student again, but I'm also my current age, which makes no sense.
And nobody questions it. You're just like, sure, I'm here.
Exactly. And I'll realize I have a test, but I didn't study, or I'm trying to find the classroom, but I can't remember the room number.
That dream is basically anxiety in a costume.
Totally. And what's funny is I haven't been in school for a long time, but my brain is like, "Hey, remember that feeling?"
Like here, have some stress as a treat.
Exactly. And the dream always has the same vibe. I'm walking down a hallway and it just keeps going. Doors everywhere, people everywhere. And I'm trying to act normal, but inside I'm panicking.
That is such a common theme, though, trying to look calm while you feel stressed.
Yeah, and I think that's why it repeats. It's not really about school, it's about pressure.
For me, my recurring dream is more like I'm trying to get somewhere, but my legs are heavy.
The slow motion running dream.
Yes, I'm not fully stuck, but I'm not moving the way I want. It's like running through thick water.
That one is the worst because you're trying so hard and it's not working.
And I wake up annoyed like I just did a workout for nothing.
Dreams really do that. They make you exhausted for no reason.
And then there are the other common themes people talk about, like losing your phone in a dream.
Or your phone not working. You're trying to call someone, but the screen won't respond.
Or you're typing a message and every word comes out wrong.
That feels so modern, like older generations probably didn't have that dream.
Right? Another big one is teeth dreams.
Oh yeah, teeth falling out, teeth breaking, teeth turning into sand.
Why do we all have that nightmare at some point? It's so specific.
It's so specific and it feels so real. You wake up and your first reaction is to check your mouth.
Exactly. You're like, are my teeth still here?
Another common one is being unprepared in public, like you show up somewhere and you realize you forgot something important.
Or you're wearing something totally wrong, like you're underdressed or your outfit makes no sense.
That one is pure embarrassment energy.
And the funny thing is, even if you don't have the exact same dream, the themes repeat.
Right. Late, lost, stuck, unprepared, embarrassed, being chased, missing something. It's like a playlist of human stress.
And then sometimes you have the opposite, like the good recurring dream, where you're flying.
Flying dreams are amazing. I don't get them often, but when I do, I wake up in a great mood.
Same. It's like your brain finally gives you a free upgrade.
So yeah, recurring dreams and common themes are basically your brain repeating certain feelings: stress, pressure, excitement, freedom, just in different scenes.
And that's why they're such a good topic for conversation, because everyone can relate to at least one of those themes.
And you don't even need to explain every detail. You can just say, "I keep having this dream where," and people instantly get it.
Okay, so we talked about recurring dreams, and honestly, a lot of those are basically stress dreams in disguise.
Yeah, stress dreams are like your brain going, "We're not relaxed yet, by the way."
Exactly. And then sometimes it levels up into a full nightmare.
Let's be clear though, nightmares don't always mean monsters and horror movie stuff.
Right. Sometimes it's just a normal situation, but the feeling is awful.
Like the dream version of anxiety, turned up to maximum volume. Do you get nightmares often?
Not often, but when I do, it's usually during a stressful week. And it's usually not scary. It's more like something is going wrong and I can't fix it.
That helpless feeling.
Exactly. I had one recently where I was trying to get to an important meeting. Nothing dramatic, just a meeting.
But in a dream, that's enough to destroy you.
Totally. In the dream, I kept checking the time and I kept thinking, okay, I can still make it, but everything slowed me down.
Like the universe was blocking you.
Yeah, the elevator wouldn't come. Then when it came, it went to the wrong floor. Then my phone wouldn't unlock, so I couldn't even message anyone.
That is so realistic and so painful.
And the worst part was, I wasn't even panicking on the outside in the dream. I was trying to look calm, but inside I was like, I'm failing, I'm failing.
That's such a stress dream detail, trying to act normal while you're melting inside.
Exactly. And then I finally got to the building and I realized I forgot something important, like my ID or my laptop, something that makes it impossible to go in.
Of course, the dream loves that moment.
And I remember thinking, no, no, no. And then I woke up with my heart racing.
That heart-racing wake-up is the worst. You open your eyes and you feel like you just ran a marathon.
And you're instantly doing reality checks, like, okay, where am I? What day is it? Then I actually missed something?
And then you have to calm your body down because your brain already pressed the emergency button.
Exactly. And I think that's why people hate nightmares. Even after you wake up, the feeling stays for a while.
Yeah, it's like the dream leaves a shadow. For me, it usually fades after a few minutes, but sometimes it sticks in the background of my morning.
Same. And sometimes stress dreams are kind of sneaky, like you wake up and you're not sure it was a nightmare, but you still feel uneasy.
Like you didn't see something scary, but you felt stressed the whole time.
Exactly. And it can be such small things, like you're trying to speak, but you can't, or you're trying to find someone, but you keep missing them.
Or you're being chased, but you don't even know by what. It's just the feeling of something's after me.
And that's when you wake up and you're like, okay, I need water. I need a reset.
Yeah, you need to sit up, breathe, maybe turn on a little light, just to remind yourself you're safe.
And honestly, sometimes talking about it helps, like telling someone, I had a stress dream last night, just to get it out of your system.
Exactly. You don't have to go into crazy detail. You can just say, I had one of those dreams where everything goes wrong, and people immediately understand.
And that's why this topic is so relatable. Everyone has had that kind of night at least once.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything dramatic. Sometimes it just means you're tired. Your brain is busy, and it decided to process it at 3 a.m.
Okay, so we've talked about stress dreams and nightmares, which honestly makes me want something more fun.
Same. Let's switch to the nicer side of dream life. Lucid dreams.
Lucid dreams are so interesting because it's basically when you realize you're dreaming while you're still in the dream.
Yeah, it's like your brain suddenly turns on a little light and goes, wait a second, this isn't real.
Have you ever had one?
A few times, but not often. And every time it happens, it feels like a superpower for about 10 seconds.
10 seconds is so real because the moment you get excited, the dream is like, okay, bye.
Exactly. The first time it happened to me, I was in some random place, like a street, that looked familiar but also wrong.
That familiar but wrong feeling is such a dream sign.
Yeah, and I noticed something weird, like the street signs didn't make sense. I tried to read them, and the letters kept changing.
Oh, that's classic. Text in dreams is so unstable.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'm dreaming. And the moment I realized it, everything got sharper.
Like the colors get brighter.
Yes, and I remember thinking, wait, if this is a dream, can I control it?
And did you?
A little. I tried to do something simple. I was like, okay, I want to be somewhere else.
Like changing the scene.
Yeah, I turned around and imagined a door behind me, and when I turned back, there was a door.
That is actually so cool.
It was cool, but I was also nervous, like I might mess it up.
That's funny, being nervous inside your own dream.
Right? So I opened the door, and it was a beach, a full, sunny beach. It felt amazing for a second.
And then you woke up.
Pretty much. I got too excited. I remember thinking, this is working, and then everything started shaking, like the dream couldn't handle it.
It's like the dream has a fragile connection. If you move too fast, it disconnects.
Exactly. I woke up and I was so annoyed because I was like, I almost had it.
I've had a couple lucid moments too, and I always waste them.
How?
I realize I'm dreaming, and instead of doing something cool, I start testing it. Like, okay, can I jump? Can I fly?
That's not a waste. That's research.
It feels like a waste when I wake up and I'm like, why didn't I go somewhere amazing?
True, but honestly, even small control is impressive.
Because most of the time you're just watching the dream like a movie.
Exactly. Lucid dreaming is like switching from movie mode to player mode.
Nice. And even if you can't fully control it, just realizing it's a dream can make it less scary.
Yes, that's the best part. If it starts turning into a nightmare and you realize, oh, this isn't real, it takes away some power.
You can be like, okay, calm down, it's just my brain being dramatic.
Or you can change the ending, like, nope, I'm leaving.
Exactly. Even just saying that is a kind of control.
So lucid dreams are rare, but when they happen, they're kind of magical.
And there's such a fun thing to talk about because everyone's like, wait, you can do that?
Which is perfect because it naturally leads to more dream stories and more ways to describe them.
All right, so before we keep telling dream stories, let's grab some super useful phrases for describing a dream in a natural way.
Yeah, because the biggest problem is people try to explain a dream like it's a normal story, and then they get stuck.
Exactly. Dreams don't have to make perfect sense, so your English doesn't need to sound perfect either. You just need a simple, smooth way to start.
And the easiest starter is, it was like.
Yes, it was like is your best friend because it's honest. You're basically saying, this is hard to explain, but let me try.
For example, it was like I was in a movie.
Or it was like I was back in my childhood home.
Or it was like everything was normal, but also kind of off.
And you can keep it simple. It was like a really long day. It was like a bad joke.
Another easy one is I was in, because dreams usually start with a place.
Yeah, I was in this huge mall.
I was in a tiny room with no windows.
I was in my old school, but it didn't look the same.
And if you don't know the exact word for the place, you can describe it instead.
Like, I was in this place that felt like a hotel, but it was also kind of a hospital.
That's actually perfect dream English, because dreams are mixed.
Another phrase that helps a lot is, there was.
Right. There was this guy I didn't recognize.
There was a door that wasn't there in real life.
There was music playing, but I couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
And you'll notice we're not trying to sound fancy. We're just building the scene.
Exactly. Scene first, then actions. And for actions, a really natural pattern is I was plus ing.
Like, I was walking down the street.
I was looking for my phone.
I was trying to catch a train.
I was talking to someone, but I couldn't see their face.
That I was trying to is so common in dreams because dreams love giving you a goal and then blocking you.
And now we need the best part, the sudden change, because dreams always do that.
Yes, this is where suddenly comes in.
Suddenly, the lights went out.
Suddenly, I realized I was late.
Suddenly, everyone started running.
And if you want it to sound a little more casual, you can say, and then.
And then I noticed something weird.
And then it got really quiet.
And then it turned into a completely different place.
Now, out of nowhere is similar to suddenly, but it has a slightly different feeling.
Yeah, out of nowhere feels like this makes zero sense, but it happened.
Like, out of nowhere, my ex showed up.
Or out of nowhere, I was holding a baby.
Or, out of nowhere, I could fly.
And that's a good phrase because it matches dream logic. Things really do come out of nowhere.
Also, quick tip, when you're telling a dream, it's totally normal to add little comments while you're speaking.
Like, which is so weird, or I don't know why, or this is the random part.
Yes, those comments make you sound natural and they give you time to think.
For example, I was in this supermarket, which is so random, and suddenly my cart started floating.
Or, it was like I was at work and out of nowhere, my boss turned into my old teacher. I don't know why.
That's a very dream sentence, and it's very normal English.
So if you want a simple dream storytelling formula, here you go.
Start with it was like or I was in.
Add a there was or I was doing to build the scene.
Then drop a suddenly or out of nowhere to show the twist.
And don't worry if it sounds messy. Dreams are messy. That's the whole point.
If you can say 2 or 3 clear sentences, you're already doing great.
Exactly. Like, it was like I was back in school. I was trying to find my classroom. Suddenly, I realized I had a test.
That's perfect. Short, clear, and totally believable as a dream.
Okay, so now that we have the how to describe it phrases, let's talk about the part that everyone actually remembers.
The feelings, because even when the dream details are blurry, the emotions usually stick.
Okay, so let's go to the emotional side, because this is the part people remember the most.
Yeah, you might forget the whole story, but you remember, I felt weird, or I felt stressed, or I woke up scared.
And the easiest way to say it is just, I felt.
Simple, clear, and you can put almost anything after it.
Like, I felt really anxious.
I felt kind of calm, which was surprising.
I felt like something was wrong.
And if you don't know the perfect word, you can still talk around it.
Yeah, you can say, I felt bad, I felt off, I felt uncomfortable, I felt so tense.
Honestly, I felt off is such a useful phrase for dreams.
Totally, because dreams can feel off even when nothing bad is happening.
And if you want to be a little more specific, you can use I was with an emotion word.
Right. I was terrified.
I was relieved.
I was confused.
I was embarrassed.
Those 4 are basically a dream starter pack.
Let's break them down a bit because they're super common in real conversation.
Okay, terrified sounds strong, so you can soften it if you want.
Yeah, you can say, I was kind of terrified, or I was honestly terrified, or I was pretty scared.
Or even more casual, I was freaked out.
Freaked out is very natural. Like, I was totally freaked out because I couldn't move.
And that's another thing. Dream fear is often physical.
Exactly. So you can say, my heart was racing, or I felt frozen, or I couldn't breathe properly.
You don't have to be dramatic, just describe the body feeling. It sounds real.
Okay, what about relieved? That one usually comes at the end.
Yes, like, and then I woke up and I was so relieved.
Or, I realized it was a dream and I felt relieved immediately.
You can also say, I was so glad it wasn't real.
That's a good one, because relieved is a bit formal sometimes, and so glad feels more everyday.
Now, confused is basically the default dream emotion.
Seriously, you can say, I was so confused, or I was confused the whole time.
Or, I had no idea what was going on, which is very natural.
And if you want to sound super casual, you can say, I was like, what is happening?
Yes, that I was like is great for showing your reaction in the moment.
I was like, why is everyone acting normal?
I was like, how did I get here?
Okay, last one, embarrassed. Dreams love embarrassing situations.
They really do, like showing up somewhere and realizing you're dressed wrong.
Or you can't speak properly, or you say something stupid and everyone stares at you.
So you can say, I was so embarrassed, or more casual, I felt so awkward.
Awkward is perfect. I felt awkward because I didn't know anyone, but everyone knew me.
And you can also say, I wanted to disappear, which is dramatic, but in a funny way.
Or I just wanted it to end. That's very real.
Another thing that makes your dream story sound natural is adding quick reaction phrases.
Like, thank goodness, or oh my God, no way, I couldn't believe it.
For example, thank goodness I woke up.
Or I couldn't believe how real it felt.
Or I was so stressed out, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm safe.
And notice when we say, I was like, we're not quoting perfectly, we're just showing the feeling.
Exactly. It's very natural English.
So if you're telling a dream, you can keep the story simple and just make the emotions clear.
Because emotions are what make the listener go, oh, wow, I get it.
And that leads into the next useful thing. Sometimes you don't remember much, so you need phrases for blurry memories.
Okay, so let's talk about the most realistic dream situation. When you wake up and you're like, I had a dream, but I can't really explain it.
Yeah, and then you want to tell someone, but you feel stuck because you don't have the full story.
The good news is you don't need the full story. In real life, people describe dreams in a very half-remembered way all the time.
Exactly. So you just need a few phrases that sound natural when your memory isn't clear.
The first one is super simple. I barely remember it.
Like, I barely remember it, but it was weird.
Or, I barely remember it, but I know I was stressed.
That's such a good pattern. I barely remember, but, because it gives you permission to be incomplete.
Another really common one is, it's kind of blurry.
Or even shorter, it's blurry.
Like, it's blurry, but I remember this one moment.
It's blurry, but there was this one person.
And kind of makes it sound even more casual. It's kind of blurry.
Because if you say it's blurry, it's already fine. But kind of feels more conversational.
Now, one of my favorites is, the only thing I remember is...
Yes, because it's perfect when you have one clear detail and everything else is gone.
The only thing I remember is I was running.
The only thing I remember is the place felt really familiar.
Or, the only thing I remember is I was talking to someone, but I couldn't see their face.
And you can also say, all I remember is, which is even more casual.
Right. All I remember is being really embarrassed.
All I remember is this weird sound.
Another helpful one is, I don't remember how it started, but...
That's very natural. Like, I don't remember how it started, but I was suddenly in my old school.
Or, I don't remember how I got there, but I was in an airport.
Because dreams jump around, so honestly, it makes sense that you don't remember the beginning.
And if you want to sound even more relaxed, you can say, it's hard to explain.
Or, this is going to sound random.
This is going to sound random, but I was holding a fish.
That sentence alone makes people lean in.
Also, you can use little time markers to keep things clear.
Like at first, then, after that, and suddenly, even if the order isn't perfect.
Exactly. At first it was normal, then it got weird.
That's basically every dream.
One more super normal thing people do is they repeat themselves a bit while they're trying to remember.
Yes, like, wait, no, actually, okay, I think it was like this.
And that's not a mistake. That's real speaking. That's how people talk when they're remembering something.
So don't panic if your dream story is messy. Just use these phrases to make the mess sound natural.
I barely remember. It's blurry. The only thing I remember is, and you're good.
And once you've shared that one detail, the other person will usually react and the conversation becomes easy.
Okay, so now we can describe the dream, we can talk about feelings, and we can handle blurry memories.
Which means we're ready for the next part, when people start guessing what the dream might mean, but in a chill way.
Okay, so now we're at that moment that always happens after you tell a dream. Someone goes, "Wait, what do you think it means?"
And this is where it can get awkward because you don't want to sound like you're doing a serious analysis.
Exactly. You're not trying to be a dream expert. You're just casually guessing, like you would with a friend.
So the key word here is soft. You want soft language.
The easiest one is maybe it means,
Like, maybe it means I'm stressed about work.
or maybe it means I'm worried about something, even if I'm pretending I'm fine.
And notice you're not saying, it definitely means this. You're just exploring.
Another super useful one is it could be,
It could be because I've been thinking about school lately.
it could be from that movie I watched before bed.
That one is so real. Sometimes a dream doesn't mean anything deep. It's just your brain mixing random stuff.
Exactly. And it could be gives you space to offer a simple reason without sounding dramatic.
Then there's I wonder if, which is really natural and kind of thoughtful.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because I haven't been sleeping well.
I wonder if I'm putting too much pressure on myself.
Or I wonder if my brain is just processing things.
That's a great one because it sounds mature but not intense.
Also, you can keep it even lighter by adding little words like just, kind of, or maybe.
Like, I wonder if it's just stress.
Maybe it's kind of connected to my schedule lately.
Or it could just be because I ate too late.
Another really normal move is to ask the other person for their guess, but in a friendly way.
Like, what do you think?
Or, does that sound like stress to you?
Or, have you ever had a dream like that?
Because then it becomes a conversation, not a lecture.
Exactly. And if you want to be extra careful, you can use phrases that show you're not 100% sure.
Like, I'm not sure, but
I could be wrong, but...
this might sound silly, but
Those are perfect for dream talk because dreams are weird and everyone knows it.
so the goal isn't to explain the dream like it's a math problem.
It's just to share a thought, like maybe it means I need a break.
Or it could be that I'm nervous about something coming up.
Soft, simple, and normal.
Okay, and after you guess the meaning, the next thing that usually happens is you talk about waking up.
Because that ending moment is always the most dramatic part.
Okay, so let's talk about the ending of the dream story, because most people finish with the wake-up moment.
Yeah, it's like the punchline. And then I woke up.
And depending on the dream, the wake-up moment can be calm or it can be dramatic.
Very dramatic, like when you wake up and your heart is racing and you're like, what just happened?
So one really common phrase is, I woke up sweating.
That's usually for nightmares or stress dreams. I woke up sweating and I had to sit up for a minute.
Or, I woke up sweating like I'd been running.
Another one is, I jolted awake.
That one feels sudden, like you didn't slowly wake up, you popped awake.
I jolted awake because I thought I heard something.
Or, I jolted awake right before I fell.
That falling dream is so common. You fall and your body is like, nope, and you wake up.
And then there's a super modern wake-up habit. I checked my phone.
Yes, I checked my phone to make sure it wasn't real.
Or, I checked my phone because in the dream I missed a message.
Or even, I checked my phone and I was so relieved it was still the middle of the night.
That's such a funny feeling, though. Relief, but also like, Why am I awake?
Exactly. And sometimes after that, you're deciding what to do next.
Which brings us to, I went back to sleep.
That phrase is so useful because it shows the story didn't turn into a big event.
Like, I woke up, checked the time, and then I went back to sleep.
Or, I woke up sweating, drank some water, and eventually I went back to sleep.
And if you couldn't go back to sleep, you can say, I couldn't fall back asleep.
Or, I was too awake after that.
Another little detail people add is, I lay there for a while.
I just lay there trying to calm down.
Or, I lay there replaying it in my head.
And if you want to sound extra natural, you can add a tiny reaction at the end.
Like, so yeah, not my favorite way to wake up.
Or, after that, I was wide awake.
Wide awake is perfect. It's casual and it paints the picture.
So your dream ending toolkit is basically, I woke up sweating, I jolted awake, I checked my phone, I went back to sleep.
Simple phrases, but they make your story sound real and complete.
All right, so now we've covered the language for describing dreams, feelings, blurry memory, soft guessing, and waking up.
Which means we're ready to move into practice soon. But first, let's keep the conversation going with some guided examples.
All right, let's do a guided practice now. And don't worry, this is not a test.
Yeah, think of it like training wheels. We'll start super easy and then we'll make it more open.
We're going to practice 4 things: the scene, the people, the twist, and the wake-up moment.
And we'll do it in 3 steps each time. Repeat after us, then fill in the blank, then answer in your own words.
Okay, first category, the scene, the place. Where were you in the dream?
Repeat after me. I was in a strange place.
Repeat after me. It was like a different world.
Repeat after me. I was walking through a long hallway.
One more. I was in my old school, but it looked different.
Nice. Now fill in the blank. Say it out loud. I was in a...
It can be anything: a house, a park, an airport, a supermarket, a train station.
Try another one. It was like...
Like a movie, like a game, like my childhood, like a nightmare, like a vacation.
Okay, now make it your own. In one sentence, where were you?
Say it casually. I was in... and just describe it.
Good. Even if it's not perfect, it's clear. That's the goal.
All right, second category. People. Who was there?
Repeat after me. There was someone I didn't recognize.
Repeat after me. My friend was there, but they acted totally different.
Repeat after me. I was talking to someone, but I couldn't see their face.
Repeat after me. Out of nowhere, my boss showed up.
Now fill in the blank. There was...
It could be a friend, your family, a teacher, a celebrity, even a stranger.
Another one. I was with...
Okay, now your turn. In your dream, who showed up? One sentence.
And you can add, which was so weird, if you want, because honestly, it usually is.
Great. Now let's do the third category, the twist, the sudden change.
Because dreams always start normal and then they go off the rails.
Repeat after me. Suddenly, everything went quiet.
Repeat after me. Out of nowhere, the place changed.
Repeat after me. And then I realized I was late.
Repeat after me. And then something felt really off.
Now fill in the blank. Suddenly,
Out
of nowhere, keep it simple. Suddenly, the lights went out. Suddenly, my phone disappeared. Out of nowhere, I could fly. Out of nowhere, it started raining inside the room.
Now your own answer. What was the twist in your dream? One sentence is enough.
If you don't remember a twist, that's fine. You can say, it's kind of blurry, but I remember.
That's real-life dream talk.
Okay, last category, waking up. How did it end?
Repeat after me. And then I woke up.
Repeat after me. I jolted awake.
Repeat after me. I woke up sweating.
Repeat after me. I checked my phone right away.
And one more. I went back to sleep.
Now fill in the blank. I woke up and
I woke up and
I checked.
after that,
Now make it your own. How did you wake up? Calm, confused, annoyed, or relieved?
If you want to add a feeling, you can say, I woke up and I felt,
Like, I woke up and I felt relieved.
or I woke up and I felt stressed for no reason.
Okay, now let's put everything together in a mini dream story. We'll go first, then you try.
Here's mine. I was in my old school. There was a teacher I haven't seen in years. Suddenly, I realized I had an exam. I felt embarrassed because I didn't study. And then I jolted awake.
Nice and clear. Here's mine. It was like I was in an airport. I was trying to find my gate. Out of nowhere, my phone stopped working. I felt anxious. Then I woke up sweating and checked my phone.
Okay, now you. Keep it short, 4 or 5 sentences.
Start with the scene, then the person, then the twist, then the wake-up moment.
And if you can only do 2 sentences, that's still great.
Seriously, don't get stuck trying to be perfect. The win is being clear. If the listener understands you, you did it.
Yeah, don't chase perfect grammar in a dream story. Dreams aren't even logical.
So your goal is simple. Say what you remember, connect it with, and then, suddenly, out of nowhere, and share the feeling.
That's it. Clear beats perfect. Every time.
All right. After this, if you want, leave a comment with one sentence about your last dream.
Just one sentence. Scene, feeling, or the weirdest detail.
And if you're thinking, my English isn't good enough, it is.
Because you don't need fancy words. You just need the courage to try.
Okay, so we've practiced how to describe dreams, but let's talk about the fun social side of dreams.
Yeah, because dreams are not just personal. They show up in conversations all the time, usually in a pretty casual way.
Like the classic line, I had the weirdest dream.
That sentence is such a perfect opener. It's short, it's natural, and people instantly want to hear more.
And you can make it even more casual with last night, like, I had the weirdest dream last night.
Or you can soften it. I had this really strange dream.
Or if it was stressful, I had a stress dream last night.
That one is super relatable, especially on Mondays.
And what I love is when someone says, I had the weirdest dream, the listener usually reacts automatically.
Yeah, people go, oh yeah? Or tell me, or what happened?
Exactly. So it's an easy way to start a conversation without needing a big topic.
But then there's the other dream line that can be a little risky.
You mean you were in my dream?
Yes, that one can be funny, but it can also be awkward, depending on who you're talking to.
Because if you say it too seriously, it sounds like you're about to confess something.
Right. The safe way is to say it with a light tone, like it's no big deal.
Like, this is so random, but you were in my dream.
Or, don't ask me why, but you showed up in my dream.
Or even, my brain is weird. You were in my dream last night.
And if the person looks confused, you can rescue the moment by adding, it didn't mean anything, it was just random.
Yes, that little sentence can save you.
Because people sometimes think dreams are super meaningful, and they're like, wait, why was I there?
Exactly. And then you have to be like, relax, you were just there.
Another fun thing is when people compare dreams like they're movie genres.
Like, mine was a horror movie.
Mine was a romantic drama.
Mine was basically a stressful office documentary.
That one sounds too real.
And it's also common to blame your dream on something.
Like, I think it's because I watched that scary video before bed.
Or, I think it's because I ate too late.
Or, it's probably just stress.
Now, culturally, people also treat dreams differently, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, in some places, dreams are mostly just small talk. Like, I had a weird dream. Everyone laughs and you move on.
It's like a funny story, not a serious topic.
But in other cultures, people take dreams more seriously. They might think dreams are a message or a sign or connected to the future.
And even if you don't personally believe that, it's still good to know how to respond politely.
Exactly. Because if someone says, I think this dream means something, you don't have to argue.
You can just say, that's interesting, or yeah, maybe, or I wonder.
Or, it could be, which is super safe and friendly.
And if you're the one sharing, you can also keep it light.
Like, I'm not sure it means anything, but it was really vivid.
Or maybe it's just my brain processing stuff.
That's the middle ground. Not too deep, not too dismissive.
Exactly. Dreams can be a joke, dreams can be a mood, and sometimes dreams can be a little personal.
And the best part is, in English, the phrases for dream small talk are simple and super useful in real life.
Which brings us to the final wrap-up. Let's recap what we covered and give you a question for the comments. All right, quick recap before we go, because I want you to leave this episode feeling like, okay, I can actually talk about dreams now.
Yeah, you don't need a perfect story. You just need a simple order that keeps you moving.
The easiest order is background, twist, feelings, wake up.
Background first. Set the scene. Where were you? Who was there? What were you doing?
Like, I was in my old school, or it was like I was in an airport, or there was someone I didn't recognize.
Then the twist, because dreams always change direction.
That's where suddenly and out of nowhere are your best friends.
Suddenly, I realized I was late.
Out of nowhere, my phone stopped working.
After that, talk about the feelings, because that's what makes the listener connect with you.
I felt anxious. I was confused. I was embarrassed. I was relieved.
And if you want to sound extra natural, you can add a quick reaction like, I was like, what is happening?
Then finish with the wake-up moment.
And then I woke up.
I jolted awake.
I woke up sweating.
I checked my phone, or I went back to sleep.
That ending makes your story feel complete even if you only shared a few details.
And here's a reminder that helps a lot. When you talk about dreams, it's normal to be a little unclear.
Yes, in fact, it sounds more real when you're a little unsure.
So use soft, blurry language without feeling bad about it.
Words like kind of, sort of, maybe, I think, it was like.
For example, it was kind of blurry, but the only thing I remember is...
Or, I think it was my friend, but I'm not sure.
Or, maybe it means I'm stressed, instead of acting like you have a clear answer.
Exactly. Dream talk is not a science report. It's a casual story.
So if you can say 2 or 3 clear sentences, you're already doing it right.
Scene, twist, feelings, wake up. That's your simple dream story path.
All right, let's do our question of the day.
Yeah, we want to hear from you in the comments.
Question 1, what's the weirdest dream you've had recently?
Question 2, do you often remember your dreams? Why or why not?
And question 3, have you ever had a lucid dream, like you realized you were dreaming and you could control it a little?
You can answer one or mix them together. Even one sentence is perfect.
And if you want an easy starter, you can literally write, I had the weirdest dream last night. It was like...
We love reading those. Also, you'll probably see other people's comments and think, oh, wow, I've had that dream too.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and come hang out with us again on Talkin' English.
We post conversations that help you learn naturally by listening to real everyday English.
And be kind to yourself. You don't need perfect English to share a dream.
Clear beats perfect every time.
All right, that's it for today. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.